Now the old king's dead, I guess the worst will end. But was this time well spent? Don't know. So you wake me up when it's over, when his time asking slightly over. So wake me when I can continue and break the worst so it can all end. Now the old king's dead, I guess the worst will end.
As a child, you watch from far away, dreaming of a brighter day. You always knew deep in your heart. Rising Every wound I carve is digging out my fate. But through the scars I wear, I find my place, reborn.